Good morning and welcome to Shop Talk number 42. Thank you folks for tuning in. I know it's been a while since the last Shop Talk. It's been a very busy summer for me. Trips to Germany, trips in the United States, all over the place, and a lot of work. Built a lot of guitars this year. Just passed guitar number 15 with students this year, and I've got about another 6 or 7 to go before the year is up. But thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to tune in and listen to us. We've got a great show for you today. I'm going to have Thiago Endrigo Silva from Brazil on the line here in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about wooden hand planes, setup and use. Now, why wooden hand planes? Well, that's because Thiago was in my shop recently, and we filmed a video on how to make wooden hand planes. It's going to be a fantastic online course, a very fun project for you to do. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that more here in a little bit. Thank you to Jim Deeming for the wonderful theme music, the opening music I always use here. Go check out jimsguitar.com. If you're into fingerstyle picking like you just heard, then Jim's your man. By the way, you folks that are coming to the Trevor Gore Modal Tuning Masterclass in October, you will be treated to an evening of music with Jim Deeming. So you'll get to hear a lot of fingerstyle Chet Atkins picking going on here on one of the nights of the classes, after the class. And we got a lot of people tuning in here. We got Canada already, North Carolina, Arizona. I got a couple from Colorado. Recognize a lot of names here. So you guys, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions throughout the stream, just go ahead and put them there in the chat box, and I'll try and get to them, and I'll feed them down to Thiago down there in Brazil. Speaking of Brazil, Cesar and Manuela, the lovely Manuela, is always with us here. Let's bring them up. Say hello. Good morning, Cesar and Manuela. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Now, for you folks that don't know, that is a green screen. They look like they're in my shop. They are not in my shop. They're actually in Cesar and Manuela's apartment in Cirquillo in São Paulo, Brazil. But thank you, Cesar. Cesar, by the way, is the guru, the pope of the internet. He takes care of my website, does a fantastic job. So, Cesar, we're going to have a drawing today.
Yeah, we have a very special drawing, totally related to what we are discussing today. Steel Max is going to give away a plane from Bob Benedetto. So just a reminder that this will be a giveaway exclusive to USA residents. And I think Robert will show us the plane in a moment.
Yes. Thank you very much, Cesar. So you've got everything behind the scenes all ready to go for the drawing. Make sure you click on
already. Yeah, just click on the link, leave your name and email so we can contact you, and the drawing will happen soon.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Cesar. Make sure you pull all the right levers and push the right buttons there for me while you're down there in Brazil, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, Cesar mentioned the drawing. Here is the wonderful Bob Benedetto plane. You guys, that is just a wonderful work of art. Bob does fantastic work. Look at that. Nice flame maple. Very nicely made. Bob handcrafts them in his own shop. And so compliments of Stuart McDonald, we will be giving one of those away here today. So make sure you click on the link and provide the information to Cesar, and he'll get all that squared away behind the scenes. So speaking of sponsors, StuMac is one of the sponsors here at the Luther Academy. We have others. Let me show them to you. Always like to call attention and say thank you to our sponsors. Royal Lac Acoustic Coffee, Elevate, Wood Stacks from StuMac, Total Vice, Glue Boost, and Pacific Rim Tone Woods. Folks, let's keep these guys in business. They help make our lives as luthiers a lot easier. So if you're in need of some tone woods, some supplies, even some acoustic coffee or vices or anything along those lines, make sure you contact these people. Let's help keep them in business, please. Speaking of the website, let me pull up my website here again. There's a brand new resources page that Cesar has been working feverishly on night and day. He hasn't slept in like a week, I think. He's been working really hard, getting this ready to go. This is a dream I've had for a long time, a resources page. And so if you just click on the resources tab there at the top and scroll down, you'll see a bunch of articles, and some of them are downloadable. Others are to external websites. But there's just a lot of great information. Just right at the top, you can see a brief history of finishes on American guitars by Jeff Jewett, good buddy and luthier friend of mine. So a lot of great information. There's even some tags here over on the left-hand side that you can click on, and help bring up different articles and stuff. So go check out the resources page. Cesar's been working really hard on that for several months, And I think you'll find it very useful, and it's a free resource. Take advantage of all the free resources you can, right, folks? The Shop Talk live streams are free. There's a lot of resources on my website that are free, so take advantage of those. One of the free resources on my website, let's go back to the website, is the video page. And all of my Luthier Tips du jour videos are there. You can also see product videos, my guitars, instruments played by students, repair work, live streams. There's a lot of great information there. It's all free. And here's one of the benefits of watching the videos on my website instead of YouTube is you can avoid all of the ads that YouTube puts on there. So if you want to work ad-free, just go to my website. You can watch all the Luthier Tips du jour videos and stuff there. One more quick thing before we bring on Thiago down in Brazil is the online courses page on the Luthier Academy website. There's a new banner there. Every time we go live, Cesar has programmed a banner to show up. So if you happen to be surfing the web and you come across my website, you'll know whether or not we're live. There you go. Now, if you're already a part of my newsletter group, then you already know that when we're going to go live, when we're having promotional offers and that kind of stuff. The online courses, we have a brand new one that's going to be coming out soon. Kristen Young up there in Seattle has been working on that for several months now. How to draw your own instrument plans using CAD. Very thorough, very detailed. And one of the interesting things about that course is he has composed and recorded all of the music that's going to be presented throughout that video. And it's some fantastic stuff. I mean, that's worth the price of admission alone, just the music soundtrack that he's put together for that. Also, some recent courses that we've launched, Making Guitar Dovetail Joints with Charles Tauber up there in Canada. Anything you need to know about dovetails, that's the course. I filmed last year in Sao Paulo, Brazil with Brazilian luthier João Casillas, the semi-hollow body guitar course, and that's a fun course. Doesn't require a lot of tools or expertise with the tools, and you can make a fun project. So there you go. All right, I can't think of any more announcements. Let me just check my my list here. Oh, one more quick announcement. A lot of people have been asking me since LMI's gone out of business, where can they get the tools and materials that a lot of the online courses present? Well, StewMac. They have most of everything you need. If it's not there, then I offer also a free tool list on most of the courses. If you just go to the online course page I just showed, click on the course, and there's usually a free tool list associated with that course. So there you go. All right, I think we ought to bring on Thiago Endrigo Silva, all the way down there in Brazil. Let's see, I'm going to try and pull up the right camera because he has two cameras. This is high tech, folks. There he is. I think we caught him napping. He's sleeping there. How you doing, Thiago?
I'm doing good. Hey, y'all. How's it going?
Fantastic. All right, so Thiago, he was in my shop recently. Let me just pull up some pictures of what we made. He's an expert on wooden hand planes. I'm just going to pull this up. These are some of the planes that will be presented in the online course on how to make wooden hand planes. And some of them are very nice. As you can see, we got some Brazil tulip wood in there. We've got some Brazilian rosewood. We got some embolia. I mean, that's high-end stuff, folks. So here's just some of the planes that Thiago shows how to make. There's one that's in the rough there. We decided to leave that rough. And it's actually a very nice plane. I've got it sitting over here on the shelf. And there's a spoke shave that we made out of Palfero. Bolivian rosewood, as a lot of people call it here. And we even made a spoke shave out of, oh my God, what kind of wood is that, Thiago? That was Violeta, right?
That's likely Caviuna or Jacaranda Violeta.
Yeah, Jacaranda, which is Brazilian rosewood. It's Brazilian and it's rosewood, but it's not the Brazilian rosewood. So and there's a fun picture of all the planes we made for the course. So here we go. Here comes back Thiago. Thiago, you're going to demonstrate and talk about wooden hand planes. So I'll just turn it over to you. And if anybody has any questions, I'll feed you the questions. But bring us up to speed on why we should be using wooden hand planes.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, let me just introduce myself quickly. Thank you for doing this, Robbie. It was a great pleasure to spend some time with you in your shop. You showed the shoulder plane. You said spoke shave. That's a shoulder plane in Palfero.
That's
like
right.
this one. This tiny, this tiny one. I hope you guys can see this. This is very narrow. one that I made here. So here in my shop in Sao Paulo, I make tools, including hand planes. I teach grown-ups and kids how to work wood, and we do research. We have set up an initiative called Saber com as mãos, which loosely translates to knowing by hand, to study and value and promote traditional crafts.
Yeah, let me just ask
Especially
Cesar.
those that are related
Hang on
to
just a second, Thiago. Let me just ask Cesar if he can put your website up in the chat box, sabercomasmãos.com. Cesar, if you don't mind, put that up so
.com. Yeah.
everybody can visit that link there.
All right. Thank you so much. It's just .com. Saber com as mãos. Yeah. So I have a few planes here, including one that I could save. You told me that you have this raccoon problem in your shop, Robbie, and all the planes were missing on the last day. Sadly, I was able to find this one in a drawer. I didn't know that raccoons could do that. All the others went missing. I could save this one. It's made out of walnut. I started this plane when teaching in Kentucky, and then we finished in your shop when we recorded the class, because we added a sole, a really, really hard wood. I think this is bocote, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember that now. You brought that from your class in Kentucky, and we added the sole here in this class while we were filming the course.
Yeah, because walnut is good, but if you have a denser walnut, that would be better for a hand plane. This piece was beautiful, but quite on the lighter side of things. So we added a sole for better wear resistance here, and we show you how to do this in the online class that we just recorded. I have one more thing here to show quickly. This is the cousin of the tulip wood plane that you will see in the video. This is one that I made for myself from believe it or not, a leg from a bench that was salvaged. Old farm was dismantled. A friend found this wood, and he gave me one leg that was, I could save, I could saw and try to go around, bug holes and rotted wood to save these to save two pieces to make this beautiful, beautiful thing. Tulip wood is one of the most beautiful woods I could work with. So wooden planes, you're probably familiar with Japanese planes that are until to this day made out of wood. This is a typical Japanese plane. They can be very big, like this one, very wide. This is a 65 millimeters wide. The most important thing on these planes is the blade. I have one right here. This one is for sale, by the way. Shameless plug. It was made by Ishido, Teruhide Ishido. This is a clan, really a family. We are now in the I think the 10th or 11th Ishido is working. This was made by Teruhide in the 1950s. And the blade is really the most important thing. Everything else is built around the blade. The plane is a jig to hold this thing in place at a certain angle. We find, in the Western tradition, hey, fellow Brazilian there, hi. In the Western tradition, we find we have these planes. These are made out of wood too, and the mouth here opening, and this is all carved. So you can drill holes, and then you carve this using special files and chisels, the same way you would make a Japanese plane like this. This is all carved, one piece of wood. The plane we made together, Rob, was made popular by James Cranov, a very, very famous teacher and cabinet maker. And what Krylov used to do, he says he didn't invented this, but he didn't invent this, but he made this popular for sure, is a method of laminating the body, laminating the sides here to the center block. So we saw these apart. Then we can treat all these two ramps with hand planes, and we can make them perfect by just using planes inside here. And then we reassemble the plane so it can be just one body and the wedge and the blade. It's really simple. Let me switch to camera number 2 here. Is that okay?
Sure, there we go, camera 2.
Can you see me here? Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
So, welcome to my messy shop here in Sao Paulo. It's very dry here these days. It feels like Colorado, Robbie.
You're what, probably about 40%?
No, dry. It was around 15 the other day. It's around maybe around today about 50, but it has been very, very dry.
Wow.
Which is below 30 is really, really unusual and dry and too dry for me. This is my plane number 1, actually, the first one I made. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, this is Pau Marfim, it's called. This yellow wood, very beautiful, good to work with, but it's not too hard. So eventually I had to add a sole to this plane too, because it wears out and you have to flatten the sole, and then the mouth opening, you sort of lose the tightness of it, and you open the mouth more and more as you go about dealing with the wear and tear on the sole. Still works perfectly well. All my students use these planes, and they learn how to adjust them, and it's really simple. What we do here, because again, it's a blade, a jig to hold a blade. In a metal plane, you have a lot of moving parts. And they are more, you may be more familiar to these planes, but really it's adjusting this one. It's really simple. You tap here with a hammer at the back. Here's the heel of the plane. So you tap there, and then the wedge will come loose, and then you can remove the wedge and the blade. So this is a blade. This is a single blade. You can use either single blade or a blade with cat iron. They all work well. When you want to use this after you sharpen your blade, I like to put the plane here on a flat surface. Then the blade won't stick out too much. Then you put the wedge in, and then you tap, and then you fine tune it. I like to look here aside from the nose of the plane here and try to see if the blade is protruding the right amount. I camber my blades. This is curved, so the cutting edge here is cambered. I want to see if that is centered on the blade here, and I tap on the wedge. If it's taking a too aggressive of a cut, it's not too aggressive, but it's also not as what do you call it? Wispy?
A whisper.
Wispy shavings?
No, whisper shavings.
You have a way of whisper, yeah. So this is heavier. If you want an even heavier cut, well, you just advance the blade. You may want to tap on the wedge to make sure everything is tight there. And with just one tap, there you go. You have a coarser shaving. And if you want to retract the blade, I always like to put my finger under. Sorry, I'm moving too much. I forgot about how to deal with cameras. I'll try to stay in place here. So I like to put my finger there because unlike Japanese planes, on the Japanese version, the blade itself is a wedge. The blade is actually thinner here at the cutting edge, and thicker on the top here. So the blade will sort of wedge itself into the body, into the die, it's called. And that's one tricky thing because you have to have the right adjustment. The blade will stay in position, will be locked in there when you find the right cut. With the Western blade, the Western planes, the Krenov style planes, this is much more. They're much more easier to adjust. But the blade being parallel, if you make the wedge loose, if you loosen the wedge, then the blade can shoot out and just escape and hit the floor and damage the floor in itself. So here you go. So if you want to retract the blade, just tap on the heel, tap on the wedge, and then you take a test. And now you have very, very thin shavings coming from this beautiful piece of wood. And the kind of finish you have from hand planes, there's a certain luster. I don't think you're going to be able to see this.
Actually, I got quite a little reflection on there. You can see it.
Yeah, okay, good. See, this is one thing people like about hand planes, depending on the kind of thing you're doing. This can be your finish. If you're making an instrument and you want to, and you're going to touch this part, I would I would sand and de-whisker and sand again. But for some other woodworking activities, styles, projects, this can be your finish. And hand planes can be really, really versatile. The one I was showing to you has a flat sole. Make sure you pick a right wood when you want to make a plane, because you see this sole, it's all bowed, and there's a big yeah, it's not flat at all. But well, you can use then this one to make concave surfaces. Maybe you see there's no blade in here. This plane shares its blade with this other one who has the same angle. This is one I'm making right now in replacement to the former husband of this. They had to part ways, and the other plane stayed in Pernambuco with a friend of mine. So I'm making this one. This curve is the same on this profile here. So width-wise, that curvature is the same, but this one has a double curve here. It's this allows me to go in and out. By the way, thanks Stumac for that Benedetto plane. Stumac carries two of the planes he makes. There's a curved sole and a flat sole one. I think you're giving away the flat sole. Is that right, Robbie?
The one I'm showing here is the flat sole. And
wonderful. Yeah.
What a work of art.
There's another one for the sole is curved, so you can scoop out arch tops or cellos, and if you make that same style plane a little bit smaller, you can carve violas and violins too. And the recurve on the outside, you can use planes for that. So I don't know if you guys have.
I got a question for you. I got a quick question for you. You mentioned the types of woods for hand planes, and somebody asked a question. Says, Thiago, do you recommend using teak for a plane? If not, what minimal density for the wood is requested? So perhaps a little comment about the species of wood you would choose to make a plane.
Okay. I haven't. I never made a plane out of teak. Density, I don't think it's too much of a problem. If it's not too soft, then it's okay. In the U.S., your domestic hardwoods, what I would recommend is maple, beech. American beech works well. What else that can be easily found? Walnut and cherry can work if you have a bigger plane or a denser piece of walnut or cherry. Hickory can work as well. I have never used teak. I don't remember. This is, I think teak is stable enough. I think it's very stable. So stability is one issue. You want the wood to be stable, dimensionally stable. And then if it's not too hard, you can add a sole to that. If you have trimmings from fretboards, that kind of thing, or even sides or backs that are made of hardwood, like harder wood, like rosewood, ebony, well, you can always glue a sole to the plane like this. Am I on camera 1 or 2?
Yeah, you're on camera 1, yes.
1. Okay, so this is ebony, and you can see it's very, very thin. But since I use this plane for smoothing, the wear is not too bad on this sole, and it's made out of tulip wood. It's not. This is a dense wood in itself, but I wanted to add the sole just as a as a feature. So if you have teak and if you have a piece that's big enough, give it a try. Yeah, I would. If you have a harder wood, denser wood, your plane should last longer, or you shouldn't have to resurface the sole too often, but they can be a pain to work with. So you see, try to balance that. Osage orange is a good wood. I have a little piece here. Oh, let me see. Yeah, that would be a beautiful. I think this is one of the hardest of your domestic woods, if I'm not mistaken. I know persimmon is very hard if you can find a piece. If you can't find it in a size that's big enough for a handplane, can be a beautiful sole material. Osage orange is a good one too. Yeah.
What about just good old red oak or white oak?
Oh, they work too. Yeah. In fact, there's a book about wooden plane making by David Fink. And on the cover, there's I think it's a white oak plane. So oak works fine too.
Okay. Here's another question, and this one's coming in talking about the type of steel, the blades.
Oh, okay. So the one I have here, the ones I have are made out of 01. This is the Hawk. The Hawk Tools blade is made out of 01 steel. And in Brazil, the nomenclature we use, we have 1095 steel. In that 10 series, what comes after the 10 is the percentage of carbon on that in the steel. So a 1095 has 0.95%, almost 1%. You want to use high carbon in that range, 0.7 to 0.9 or 1%. These steels, anything you can find in that range will give you a good blade. If you want to purchase your own material and make a plane and make your own blade, that would be the recommendation. Any high carbon would work. There are like the 01 and the 1080, 1095. They are simpler. It's just carbon and iron. So I think 01 has some, a little bit of something else in there, but they are easy to quench and temper yourself. So they would work well. You can do that in your backyard. So if you don't have 01, try to go for 1095 or something similar.
Yeah, Thiago, speaking of quenching and tempering, do you show that in the video? Of course, I know the answer.
We do show that in the video, Rob. Yeah.
Well, on my back porch doing that.
If you're going to buy a torch in the U.S., well, the MAP gas is not actually matte gas. It's not the same thing we can find here in Brazil. It wouldn't go as hot as the same we have here. So you may want to try using two torches to heat your own metal, or you may want to build a little forge for yourself with just bricks. Some what do you call it? An enclosure,
Yep.
little cave, and you can put the torches there to heat the blade. When you heat steel, steel is composed of iron and carbon, essentially. And if you heat steel to a critical temperature and rapidly cools it, you can alter some properties on the steel, in the steel. So, for instance, you can change the hardness, and that's what you achieve when you quench. Quenching is cooling rapidly after you heat it up. So you heat the steel until it loses its magnetic point. It's no longer magnetic. There's a change in phase called austenization in English. I think that's the word. So it's like the carbon in that there's a structure, a crystalline structure, and the carbon it's sort of like floating around. And if you quench it fast, that the carbon you will rearrange the carbon where the carbon is in that structure, and that will give maximum hardness for the steel. It will be even too hard to work wood. So you need to retain some of that hardness, but get rid of some of it to give toughness to the tool, so it's not too brittle. And that's when you temper. Tempering is heating the metal to a critical temperature, but not that hot. It's a much lower temperature, and then you slowly let it cool. And that is in essence how you make cutting tools using steel.
Perfect. All right. I've got another question for you, Thiago. And this is about also the irons. One of the planes, or several of the planes we make in the course, you have no chip breaker. And then we make a plane also with a chip breaker. Can you explain the difference, please?
Oh yeah, the secret is in the name, Robbie, because this is the chip breaker. This is tight as hell. Let me get a screwdriver here quickly. Okay, here you go. So this is the chip breaker. What it does is actually breaks the chips. When you're cutting wood, there's a the blade itself is a wedge, and when it enters the wood, it's then it starts cutting the wood. That energy sorts of like dissipates, and it wants to pull the wood that was not yet cut. So you're cutting the wood and you have that energy going, and then some of the wood may be ripped, may have tear out. Uh, One way to prevent that is, well, obviously having a very sharp blade, to watching for grain direction. If you're going with the grain, the chances, of better results in terms of finish will be much better, much higher. Um, but that can still happen with figured wood and reverse grain woods. There's no way you can always plane in the right direction. So what the chip breaker does is to sort of push the shavings that are coming, the wood that's being cut. It sort of pushes it back and breaks it, so they cannot form a big lever. If leverage is the key component to understanding this, if you have a big chip or shaving coming out, it can lift the wood ahead of the where the cutting action is happening. So the chip breaker will roll it, will break this chip, and will make it, will eject this shaving from the plane, and that's what it does. If you don't have a chip breaker, you can deal with difficult woods in a few different ways. One is closing the mouth. The tighter the mouth, the better chances you have of achieving great finish, because the mouth will sort of hold the wood down when it's trying to lift, it's trying to tear out. The mouth will sort of keep it down. That is helpful, not always, but it is helpful. A higher angle, higher cutting angle is another thing you can do. So you can combine a few of those things, a few of these things. If you have a chip breaker, you don't have to worry too much about angles. 45 degrees is fine, because you can adjust the chip breaker to be really, really close to the cutting edge. And then it will do a fantastic job in preventing the wood from tearing, and will make the wood be cut, and then you're going to have a good finish. The tighter, the closer the chip breaker is to the cutting edge, the harder the plane will feel to push. Yeah, you can feel that. There's a lot more stress happening in that area. Your sharpening won't last too long, but it is a way to hand plane difficult wood.
Uh, Thiago, another question for you about sharpening. Now, in the wooden hand planes course that I'm currently editing, it's going to take me a while to edit it, but in the course I'm currently editing, we have a section on sharpening. And just a few minutes ago, Thiago mentioned that he chamfers the blade. So I'm going to ask him to give us a definition of chamfer and perhaps an explanation or demonstration of what
Camber, Robbie.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, my English is I'm acquiring the language still, but cambering is when you put. Let me grab a sharpie here. So these blades can be sharpened straight across. So here you have the blade, and this is flat. The cutting edge is very, very flat. I do this on my chisels, and I do this on shoulder planes like this, and that's happening when I want the corners to cut. So if I want the corners to cut, like this is a joinery plane, I want to clean shoulders. I want to make rabbets. I want that crisp, clean transition, 90 degrees. So that's when I sharpen the blade flat. In Well, apart from these cases from joinery planes and chisels, I think I camber all my other planes. And cambering means um, sharpening the cutting edge here with a little curvature on it. So the blade will be higher if I hold it in the air like this to you, would be more or less like this, would be higher in the middle here, and would curve to the sides there. So that way, when you're using the plane, what will happen is that the corners, they won't stick out. They will be hiding here inside the body, and then what's actually cutting will appear gradually, slowly, and then the center of the blade will cut more, and then we'll cut a little less, and then the corner will disappear again. We do that because one, it's easier for me to know if I know where the blade is cutting more. It's easy for me to position the plane and square pieces, flatten pieces. That's how I work. This is helpful, and when I'm planing woods that are larger than the plane, what happens is that the corners won't leave a mark, won't leave tracking marks. So if I don't want tracking marks, I camber the blade, and that's about it. How much camber? Well, it depends on how you use your blade. If you use it for finishing, the blade will stick out just a little bit, so you don't need this curvature to be too pronounced. Just a little curve will do. If you take heavy shaving, if it's a coarse kind of work you're doing, well, you need to put more curve into on the blade there, so the corners will hide inside the body.
Okay, very good. Thiago, just another quick question here, and then we probably ought to get on into the drawing. How do you finish your planes? Is there a preferred finish, an oil, a wax, a shellac? What do you put on them?
Usually Thiago oil. So if the wood is dark, I sometimes just oil them with linseed oil, but just one quick coat. Sometimes I just do nothing, and it doesn't bother me. It looks beautiful. It feels fine to the touch. So it's personal preference. If I decide to finish a plane, I would either use wax or oil. I don't like film finishes for planes. I think they degrade quite quickly, and the plane would be ugly. I prefer, like penetrating oils, non film, not film finishes. Except when you have something like this, which is clear, and then if you don't do anything to a wood like this, it will start getting like this too quickly. It will look all dirty, and if you want to avoid this, you may want to apply just one or two coats of this one has shellac. So shellac works fine. It's this is a low sheen because there's not a lot of finish on this plane, and it still looks beautiful. But there's not a film that's cracking or getting scratches, so it still looks beautiful to me. Personal preference. That's how I go about it.
All right, let's talk about some of the planes that are shown in the course. The first plane that we made in the course was a little block plane, or perhaps a small smoother. This one is made out of embolha, which is Brazilian walnut, and then we've got some maple in there, and a nice plain iron that Thiago made in Brazil and brought to me. And then we get real fancy too. We do like radius soles, radius this way, radius this way. This one happens to be a piece of maple that we have put some Brazilian rosewood in there and made it look nice. So there we go. The shoulder plane, I mislabeled this or misnamed it earlier as a spoke shape, but no, it's a shoulder. And this one is made out of wood. Yeah. This is a piece of Bolivian rosewood that I when I was living in Brazil, I brought home with me with a beautiful piece of flame maple in there. I mean, you can get all kinds of fancy. The spoke shave that we made for the course, this one is made out of Cabiona ou Violeta, which is a Brazilian rosewood. Very hard wood. But, I mean, the sky's the limit. You guys can get real decorative. In fact, Thiago, why don't you show that pen blank that I gave you and how you incorporated that into the plane? So you can get as fancy as you want.
Sure, yeah.
Check this out.
It's now a cross pen. Can you see this?
Yeah, let's see. That's a pen blank that I gave him. That's one of those decorative pen blanks. It's all kinds of different species of woods and colors. And he just used that in one of his planes.
Yeah. So this may not be structurally sound, maybe, but the way I made the pen here is by using a brass pin from the side, and I drill the center of this small piece of wood. So the brass pin is going across this piece. And and that's how I could use this the pen blank.
Perfect. We got one more question, and then we probably ought to get into the drawing. Stanley is he's talking. What is the best plain blade angle for highly figured wood? You want to go low angle, or we're going to go higher angle on that?
I would go higher angle. Yeah, in my experience, higher angles work better. Either chip breaker, set up really close to the cutting edge, or a higher angle, or even a scraping plane or hand scraper. These would be the options.
Ago, the stream just cut out right in the middle. I am so sorry. Thank you for everybody who stuck around with us here. But it appears that I'm back now. So Cesar, if you can hear me down there in Brazil, go ahead. All right. Let me get rid of that. All right. So if you're still with us, thank you so much. Cesar, go ahead and dial back in. And Thiago, go ahead and dial back in if you can hear me. I don't know what happened there. Let me just get Cesar on the line here. I don't know what happened. We had a great stream going on there for a while. We were talking about wooden hand planes with Thiago down there in Brazil. And then all of a sudden the internet here at the house just completely crashed. And I'm trying to get Cesar back in. I'm trying to get Thiago back in. Let me just see if I can get him. Then we'll do the drawing, folks. Boy, isn't internet great. Looks like people are slowly coming back in. We had about 50 people. Now we're back up to 26 again. So I'll get Cesar and Thiago back in here momentarily. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box there. Let's see here. Multi-continental broadcasts are quite a feat. Yeah, they are. So we were doing fine there. Colorado snowstorm. No, it wasn't a Colorado snowstorm. We don't have any snow here just yet. Let me see if I can get Cesar on the line here. Boy, this is an international production here. We'll get him up and we'll do the drawing. Maybe. And I think Thiago, he's probably having lunch or taking a siesta by now. So whatever happens here, if I can't get Cesar back on the line here in just a minute to do the drawing, we'll do it off camera. Actually, I could probably film it, but we'll have to do it off the live, and I'll go ahead and choose the winner, and we have a random drawing for that, and we'll go ahead and send that out to the person who wins. I don't see Cesar trying to dial back in here. There we go. He's calling me. Cesar. Cesar, you there? Hello, Cesar. Well, he called me, but I can't hear him. Cesar, can you hear me? Try calling me back if you can't hear me. There we go. Can you hear me? Yep, he's going to call me back. Interesting, when you make these WhatsApp calls, they always ask you at the end, how was the quality of your call? Well, this one sucked. Maybe I should put that in there. Here we go. He's calling again. Cesar!
Yeah, now we can.
Wow, this is crazy, isn't it? Oh, we lost him again. Well, we'll get this figured out here, folks. We're going to do this drawing. I swear we're going to do the drawing. We want somebody to win that Benedetto hand plane. There he comes again. Cesar!
Oh my god.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Crazy. Sorry for that.
So can you dial back into Ecamm? Can you click on the link?
Yeah, I'm clicking, but it shows waiting for the host, so waiting for you. So I'm not sure what's happening.
I'm not sure what's happening either.
Yeah, maybe we do the drawing on a video call or just upload it later.
Okay, because
It's up
it
to you.
is not showing me that anybody's trying to dial in here, and I'm not.
Yeah, me and Thiago are trying to dial up, but
Okay,
it doesn't. It still shows waiting for hosts.
really?
Yeah.
Well, let me just click on a couple of things here. No, I don't even have that option here. That is just strange. Normally, I mean, it rings and then I just let you guys in, and I don't have that option here.
Multiple times and just stuck on waiting for hosts.
I still have the chat box, and it looks like we still have some people here with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even.
Maybe
All right, well, should we just go ahead and do the drawing then?
yeah, if you can show the camera, I will.
Yeah, let me see if I can just turn this camera here. Here we go. All right. Here is there's Cesar and Manuela down in Brazil, and they don't have, you can see the green screen now, huh?
Yeah, well, we don't have the green screen anymore. the effects itself. So I'll do my best to show the screen here. Manuela is with the tablet, and let's do the drawing.
Okay, so hopefully everybody's entered in the drawing. And Matt Meyer.
Matt Meyer, congratulations.
Congratulations, Matt Meyer. You are the winner of the Benedetto handplane, which is right here. Compliments of Stu Mack and Bob Benedetto. And I will have Cesar contact you with your, and we're going to need to get your shipping address and stuff like that. And then we'll send that over to Stu Mack, and Stu Mack will ship that out to you. But my God, what a mess, huh, Cesar?
Yeah,
I've never had this happen before. Never had this happen before in a stream. So
no,
I think we ought to. I think we ought to give something away just for saying thank you and apologize for all this.
Yes, exactly.
I want to say we give away a sharpening course because that's something that could be very useful. So let's do a random drawing for the sharpening course. You could use that with the hand planes as well. So what do you think?
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect, Robin. Let me just set up the drawing again. So I think we are good to go. Yeah.
All right, go ahead with the drawing there.
And we have number 31,
Steve Johnson.
Steve Johnson.
Steve Johnson, you
Sorry,
get.
I'm reading it backwards.
So Steve, you get the sharpening course. Let's go ahead and give away another one. What the heck?
Yes. One more. And okay.
Jim DeClark,
Jim DeClark.
12.
Congrats, Jim.
All right. So Jim, you have won the sharpening course, and so who was the other person that won the sharpening course?
That was number 31, which is Steve Johnson.
Okay, good. Steve says, hey, great, much needed. Thank you. All right. So
yeah, he's in the chat.
And Gary Redmond says that my sharpening course is great. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And I apologize, everybody, for the technical glitches here today. I never had that happen before during the stream, but first time for everything. And thank you very much, Thiago down there in Brazil. If you're still listening, thank you so much for coming on and presenting some of your knowledge, sharing some of your knowledge here with us today. Certainly appreciate that. And I guess we'll just say over and out now. So thank you very much. Over and out, folks. Happy building.